morning, good afternoon, good evening, my friend. Today's topic is lunar eclipse. Let's do the mantras first. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Vyam Ved Vyasaya Namah Om Gurve Namah. Fabulous. So this lunar eclipse is going to take place on September 7th, 2025. And this is going to be a total lunar eclipse. All right. Now, what is a lunar eclipse? So, generally we understand that when the earth comes in between the moon and the sun, then it is lunar eclipse. That much we know. Now, why is it total? Right? There are a couple of technical terms which have been used with eclipse, right? Partial, total, or some other terminologies. So let us briefly understand the astronomical part of it, because if we understand that, it will be much easier for us to comprehend the astrological part. And then we can really understand how it is going to impact us and how we can get the remedy for ourselves. And I'm going to talk about every ascendant very soon. So I just mentioned that eclipse means when the earth comes in between the moon and the sun. And let me also add to this complexity that it occurs on a full moon day. Okay, let me take a step back. There are two different kinds of moon's day we kind of take into account. One is the new moon day, which is Amavasya, and the other is the full moon day, which is Purnima. Okay, so if we look at the horoscope, let me also add on a bit of astrology when I'm talking about astronomy. So, new moon. If you look at the horoscope, we say when moon is conjoined sun. All right, we call it new moon, Amavasya in the horoscope. Let's say your somebody's sun is in the sign Aries, and if moon also happens to be in the sign Aries, sun and moon are conjoined in one sign, we say it is Amavasya. Now, depending on, it could be Chaturdashi also, depending on the degrees, but broadly, let's say if they're conjoined, it is Amavasya. Now, astronomically, what is Amavasya? When sun and moon are on the one side. Earth is not in the middle. Let's say this is sun and here is moon, small, and here is earth. So moon actually is a satellite of earth. It is taking a revolution around the earth. Right? But while taking revolution around the earth, moon comes here. Moon is in the middle between the sun and the earth. Moon is in the middle. So then moon is closer to sun astronomically. And in astrology, we say moon and sun are conjoined. It is new moon. My question to you, if moon and sun are conjoined, moon is closer to sun, so moon is having so much of light from the sun. Moon doesn't have any light of its own. It only has a reflected light from the sun. And if it is close to the source of the light itself, then why it is called Amavasya? Amavasya or new moon means when there is no light. My dear friend, as I just mentioned, that moon, while taking the revolution around the earth, is come to the center between the earth and the sun. It is close to the sun, or closer to the sun comparatively. So from the earth, though the moon is getting the light from the sun, but the portion of moon which is getting light from the sun is not visible from the earth. Earth is here, moon is in the center, sun is here. So from earth, what we can see, that portion which is not getting light. Though moon is closer to the sun, is getting, one side of the moon is getting full light, but the other side which is visible from the earth doesn't have any light. That is point number one. And the second logic is because moon doesn't have any lights of its own. So when it is so much of closer to sun, then the reflection principle doesn't work valid. I mean, it is so close that the entire light which could have been reflected from a distance, the distance is not there. So moon appears very dark when we observe it from the earth. That's why when moon is conjoined sun in a horoscope, we say, oh, it is new moon, Amavasya. Moon doesn't have any lights of its own. It is not considered a strong moon. Rather, it is considered a weak moon. It has a couple of doshas also. Chaturdashi dosha, Amavasya dosha, Pratipada dosha, that's separate. We are talking about eclipse. Remember, the topic is eclipse. And once we understand this, it will be like cakewalk. Now, lunar eclipse occurs on full moon. So far we spoke about new moon. Let's now speak about full moon. What happens on a full moon time? So let's say while taking a revolution, now this was the sun, this is earth, and moon, which was in center so far, now it is taking further revolution, and the moon comes to now this place where earth is here, moon is here, and sun is here. So moon is actually opposite sun. It is 1/7 axis. Let's come back to horoscope once again. So sun, let's say, is in the sign Aries, and if moon goes to the sign Libra, so moon is opposite the sun. So we say it is 1/7 axis. It is full moon. Forget the degrees. Degrees could be making some difference to the full moon. It could get into Chaturdashi or Pratibhada. For the sake of ease in understanding, let's say when moon is opposite the sun, 1/7 axis, this is full moon. And moon is getting full light from the sun, reflected light, distance is there. And this is earth, and this is moon, which is opposite to the sun. We can also see the reflected light, so it is visible. So we say, yes, when it is Purnima, when it is full moon, moon has a good amount of light. Then all the significations of moon, like emotional intelligence, emotional quotient. When Lagna is the IQ, intelligence quotient, moon sign is the emotional EQ. And associated things like in terms of health, moon denotes blood. So all the elements related to blood, all those things, all those other significations in addition to general health, the associations, the significations of moon will come to the fructification. It will be good for us. Fantastic. Now the question is, why the lunar eclipse? If moon has full light, lunar eclipse means there is no light. All right, that is one question. Why then on full moon day, when the moon is opposite to the sun, 1/7 axis, it has so much of light. All the significations are coming to the fore. Then why are we saying full moon? Why are we saying that lunar eclipse occurs on a full moon day? That is question number one. And second question, let me also add second question, and then we'll try to understand both the questions together. Second question is, moon takes a revolution of sun, earth. The earth is this, the moon is taking the revolution of the earth. In about 29.5 days, it takes one revolution. Then ideally, if we say that earth is in the center of the moon and the sun, then lunar eclipse takes place. And when moon takes one revolution in 29.5 days, then ideally every month there should have been one lunar eclipse. Because every month when moon reaches opposite to the sun, earth is in the center, sun is here, moon is here. Earth is in the center of moon and the sun. There has to be lunar eclipse. Then why lunar eclipse doesn't take place every month? So now we have two questions. First is, why lunar eclipse is happening on a full moon day when moon has so much of light? And why lunar eclipse is not happening every month? On an average, there are two lunar eclipses take place in 1 year. And this number can actually go to 0 or up to 3. On an average, 2. So the answer lies in the ecliptic circle. So the orbit of the moon is taking revolution of earth. This is earth, this is moon. The orbital plane of the moon is tilted. Earth's axis is also tilted by a certain degree, 23.5 degree or so. Moon's orbital plane is also tilted. So to say, sun is very big compared to earth. Because it is very far, it appears smaller, but it is very big. Now, moon is 1/4 of the size of earth broadly, smaller to earth. So if earth is in the center, let's say, and moon is so small. Now, if moon is taking revolution, let's say in taking revolution, it is slightly lower than the earth, still taking in this orbit. Now, in this orbit, when sun is throwing sunlight, rays to the earth, earth is casting shadow. The shadow zone is this. Unless the moon is passing through the shadow zone, that shadow zone, there is no eclipse. If the orbital plane of moon, which is tilted, this is shadow zone, is underneath the shadow zone, it will just not come within the ambit of shadow zone. There is no eclipse. When it comes partially in the ambit of shadow zone, like passes through here, we call it partial eclipse. When it is completely in the ambit of shadow zone, passes through this, when it enters and passes through this, we call it total lunar eclipse. You understand? So if it is not at all within the shadow zone of the earth, there is no eclipse. So therefore every month, though it comes opposite to the sun, full moon, when moon in the circle comes opposite to the sun and earth is in the center, still there is no eclipse because moon is not within the shadow zone of the earth. It passes underneath or from the top. There is no eclipse, but there is full moon. Moon has all the light. But when it passes within the shadow zone, like on September 7th, it is going to pass through absolutely from, this is the earth, absolutely from the dark zone, umbra zone, dark. That will be the total lunar eclipse, because in that duration, moon will not be visible. It will be visible, it will be in a different tinge. Now, there is also a distinction if it is from partial lunar eclipse, penumbra zone, blackish, it becomes like black. When it is passing through total lunar eclipse, dark shadow, it appears slightly red. We call it blood moon. You must have heard this term, blood moon. Now, let me spend a minute on that. Why it is called blood moon? See, Earth, the sun, when it throws the sunlight has 7 colors, Vibgyor: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. All right. When the sunlight passes through the atmosphere, there are different tiny particles in the atmosphere. So, some out of those 7 colors, broadly 5 colors have short wave. So because they are short in short wavelength, so tiny particles of atmosphere, they are able to scatter those colors. And blue is the scattered most scattered color. When blue color gets scattered out of sun rays, it gets scattered across the sky, and that's the reason sky appears blue during the daytime. But the longer wavelength, which is primarily red or orange to some extent, those are not scattered so easily. Rather, those are bent, refracted by the Earth's atmosphere. So when they are refracted, after it touches the Earth, it goes toward the shadow portion. So this is Earth, this is Sun. So Sun is casting Earth's shadow over this area. And the red and orange, long wavelength, those are refracted and going towards the shadow area. And when the moon is passing through the shadow area in its revolution, red and orange sunlight passing or falling on the moon, giving it reddish, copperish kind of tinge. We call it blood moon. That is the reason. It is called blood moon when it is under the total shadow zone, total lunar eclipse. You got the idea? So far, so good. So it's all about the alignment. If the moon and the earth and the sun are perfectly aligned, then the moon's orbit will be actually falling within the shadow casted by the earth over the moon. And this will be a total lunar eclipse. And if the alignment is not perfect, like moon is somewhere is passing through the shadow casted by the earth, but not completely. Only a portion of moon is within that shadow. It is a partial lunar eclipse. And if it is absolutely not aligned, it is not passing within the shadow casted by the earth, there is no lunar eclipse. It is all about the alignment among the sun, the earth, and the moon. Now on September 7th, 2025, we are calling it a total lunar eclipse. Now you understand why? Because the alignment will be perfect. The moon will be passing through the area of the shadow casted by the earth over the moon. So it will also be a blood moon. You know the reason why? Now the last time we had a total lunar eclipse visible from India, it happened about 3 years back, November 8, 2022. That time also, it was a total lunar eclipse and we referred the moon as a blood moon. The difference is at that time, the eclipse was visible from the United States, US also. This time, it will not be visible from the US. Only the farther portion of the Alaska, etc. may see it partially. But otherwise, broadly we can compare. The other difference between that eclipse, total eclipse happened 3 years ago. At that time, moon was farther away from the earth, astronomically. But this time, moon will be closer to the earth. If moon is closer to the earth, the impact of eclipse will be felt much more. That is point I want to bring it to your attention. Now, is it good or is it bad? See, let's say if lunar eclipse is not happening, what is new full moon? It is on a full moon. Full moon means moon has so much of light, reflected light, it has so much of light, it is powerful. See, if you look at the horoscope, we say if the tithi is on or after Shukla Paksh Ashtami till about Krishna Paksh Saptami, passing through the Purnima, moon has so much of power, so much of strength. Do we know? Don't we say that? So generally, full moon is a period when moon has so much of strength. All the significations of moon, like emotional quotient, the health, the longevity, that relationship should flourish. So it should give a good result. But this is eclipse. When the eclipse is coming over the moon, the results will go for a toss. It will be like covering. Your emotional intelligence is like getting covered. So the results will not fructify. So what exactly happened after the total lunar eclipse on November 8, 2022? If we see that, we get an idea what can happen this time. So after that eclipse, right? That eclipse took place in the sign Aries, because at that time moon was in Aries. And let's look at India as a country. Though the way we interpret mundane horoscope versus Jatak horoscope is completely different, but for the sake of simplicity, India's Lagna is Taurus. So this eclipse was happening in 12th house for India in November 2022. Immediately after the eclipse, December beginning, India took the presidency of G20. Ideally, if it was happening in 12th house, 12th from first house, so loss of fame. Did India pass through loss of fame? No. That G20 presidency gave so much of fame to India. It was happening in 12th house from India. 12th house about foreign. Almost all the prominent leaders from foreign came to India. Was the relationship not good with all the foreign people, all the foreign delegates? It was good. So that eclipse which was happening in the 12th house for India, though mundane, for the sake of understanding, it turned out to be good for India. And not only that, India launched private rocket, Vikram S, privately developed rocket. Rocket is also 12th house, going to the space, going up. Interesting. And why is that so? The logic, one of the reasoning lies in the nakshatra. At that point in time, moon was in the nakshatra of Venus, Bharani nakshatra. And the lord of Lagna, India is Taurus Lagna, lorded by Venus. There was a harmony in that area. Nakshatra is very, very important. And it was Venus nakshatra throughout. When we say total lunar eclipse, we have to look at the penumbra portion, when the penumbra is beginning, when the moon is entering into the shadow of the earth. The full shadow is only in umbra portion. Before the full shadow, partial shadow, penumbra region. What was the nakshatra in penumbra? What is the nakshatra in umbra? Is the nakshatra changing? No. In that total lunar eclipse, there was no change in nakshatra. It was throughout Bharani. Now let us look at, after that, the total lunar eclipse which will take place is now, after about 3 years, on September 7th. In between those 3 years, there was a partial lunar eclipse, which happens about 2 years back, about November or October 28, 2023. Partial lunar eclipse. But immediately after that lunar eclipse, that also took place in the sign Aries, which again 12th house for India. But after that eclipse, what happened in India? Explosion in a prayer meet in Kerala. Train collision in October end. A lot of workers trapped in the Uttarkashi in the tunnel. There was a lot of pro-Khalistani activities in Canada. 12th house explosion. I'm talking about the activities pertaining to 12th house for India, broadly. Accidents, troubles, health troubles, deaths, terrorism, foreign countries engagement, Canada. So it didn't turn out to be good for India, though the earlier one, the total eclipse, which took place in 22, after that India assumed a lot of fame. But why? What was the nakshatra? Lunar eclipse, partial lunar eclipse. Ashwini nakshatra, lorded by Ketu. So the Rahu-Ketu axis, when lunar eclipse takes place, it is in Rahu-Ketu axis. Those are the nodes causing eclipses. Nakshatra makes hell lot of difference. Ketu nakshatra was the nakshatra throughout, penumbra zone till umbra zone. Now let's move to September 7, 2025. At this juncture, moon will be in the sign Aquarius. What will be the nakshatra? The penumbra zone, For India, I'm talking about the timeline from India perspective. The total duration of nakshatra will be about 5.5 hours. From broadly 9 p.m., 8:58 p.m. New Delhi time, broadly 9 p.m. Then count 5.5 hours, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, broadly till 2:30 next day morning. During these 5 hours, nakshatra is going to be changed. This time it is not the same nakshatra. So the moment penumbra, the partial shadow begins, it is going to pass through Satabhishaj nakshatra, lorded by Rahu. But after about 40 minutes, then partial begins, then total lunar eclipse begin. Then it will pass through Jupiter nakshatra, Purvabhadrapada. But the beginning is very, very important. It is beginning from Rahu's nakshatra. But the good point, it is changing to Jupiter's nakshatra, which is a very good thing. Are you with me? So far, so good. So we know that total lunar eclipse will cast a shadow over moon. So the significations of moon, broadly, emotional quotient, which is related to relationship straight away, how we feel, mind, our mindset, our happiness, contentment, they'll be covering over that quotient. That we understood. So what are the areas which are going to be impacted? Now, moon will be placed in the sign Aquarius. We know that. And this is in Rahu Ketu axis. Broadly, it will always be in Rahu Ketu axis, more or so. So moon is with Rahu in Aquarius. Oh, there is an aspect of Jupiter. Is that so? The degrees are same. Is that so? My dear friend. Okay, let's say you are going for a morning walk in the park. Very casual walking. Some friends are coming from the right side, some are coming from the left side. You're saying hi, hello, hey, how are you doing? You're talking to people, saying hi, asking for the well-being, and then taking a morning walk. Whereas, if you are jogging, full speed, will you say hi, hello to people nearby? Or will you be only focusing on your front so that I am not colliding with anybody? I want to just jog and go back. I'm in a hurry. Obviously, you will not look around. Likewise, Jupiter is in Atichari speed. It is, as I told you in my Jupiter's transit video, August, September, October specifically, Jupiter's speed is almost double than the normal speed. Jupiter is just wanted to move across to Cancer and feel like exalted. So Jupiter is running very fast. It's like running. It doesn't have time to bring that much of aspect power at this juncture. So I will not count that as sort of recovery. Because the speed of Jupiter, we have to balance out a lot of things. So moon, first of all, the nakshatra is, the beginning nakshatra is Satabhishas, penumbra portion. Then Jupiter's aspect is not that available because Jupiter is busy in its jogging. Then Rahu Ketu axis is there. It is a sign of Aquarius. Moon is Sattva planet, Sattva Graha planet. So when moon goes to the sign Aquarius, it is lorded by Saturn and Rahu, tamas energy. Right? And then we call it blood moon. Red light is coming. Red light, Martian energy is coming. Additional tamas energy is coming. Do you see? Sattva is going to go down. So you will see there are multiple layers of covering during this eclipse. It is not a single layer of covering. It is not an ordinary eclipse this time, my friend. There are multiple coverings which will come to your mind. Your emotional faculty will actually be covered. Now it is important for us to find out which is the area in our horoscope. Now I'm going to talk about your individual ascendant. I'll tell you the area specifically where your emotional quotient will be covered by the multiple layers of nakshatra, of tamas energy coming from Saturn, Lord of Aquarius, coming from Rahu, Lord of Aquarius, coming from that Martian red light, the blood moon. And then I'll tell you the way out to come out of that eclipse for that specific area. How nice if that be? So which area, how do we identify when I talk about astrology specifically? Moon is in Aquarius. So let's say your Aries ascendant. it is your 11th house, so 11th house will be under eclipse. No, it doesn't work like that. For moon, let me bring forward a very important principle of Jyotish for you, my friend. Moon doesn't own two houses in a horoscope. You know that? Moon only owns one house, which is Cancer. Likewise, Sun, which only owns one house, which is Leo. Whereas all the other planets, they owns two houses. Mercury owns Gemini and Virgo. Venus owns Taurus and Libra. Saturn owns Capricorn and Aquarius. Jupiter owns Pisces and Sagittarius. What else is left? Mars owns Aries and Scorpio. I'm not counting Rahu and Ketu, they also owns two grahes, two houses each. But the moon and the sun, they only owns Cancer and Leo respectively. That's why when it comes to the moon and the sun, the lordship becomes more important than the house where they are placed. That is point number one. Second point, when we let's say do the transit analysis of, let's say, Jupiter and Saturn as an example. Jupiter stays in one sign for about a year. Saturn stays in one sign for about 2.5 years. How about moon? How long moon will stay in the sign of Aquarius? 2 days? 2 days and some more time. So the impact of transit of moon is not very easy to fathom basis the positioning of moon. Rather, the lordship of the moon will remain consistent and constant. Let's say your Aries Lagna, let's say your Taurus Lagna. For you, moon is in 10th house, but moon is third lord. So the impact will be felt much more basis the lordship, not basis the placement. It's a very important concept when it comes to the moon and the sun. Now let's talk about blessings quickly before I start with the ascendant. Generally, whenever I talk about any transit, I start my transit video with some blessings. You know, everything comes with blessings and then there are some downfalls. What kind of blessings can we expect from a total lunar eclipse? It's a good question. Now let me take an example for your understanding. Let us say you're alone, you're walking on a road, there's good street light is coming. It is like full moon. Street light, because full moon always takes place at night. I'm taking an example of you walking at night alone. Suddenly there's a power cut. The street light is no longer available. There's pitch dark. On top of that, you have to undergo a tunnel. The only way you can pass through that is through a tunnel. And there is pitch dark in tunnel. There's like a shadow. The shadow casted by the tunnel on your head. You are scared. Though the lights were there, it was a good lighting, but now the lights are not there, you're passing through the tunnel. Now there are three possible scenarios. This is like total lunar eclipse. We are trying to find out, can there be blessings? And with the help of this example, we'll get to understand what kind of blessings can there be, if at all. First scenario. As you're passing through the tunnel, there are some goons standing in front of you. Oh my goodness. Already there was so much of trouble because of darkness, and on top of that, there are goons. They're like Rahu, which is with moon during eclipse. So what will you think about that at that time? What will be your thoughts? Will you think about some new beginnings, something to begin, something good to come to your life? Or will you think about security? Hey God, please just let me get out of this situation. Security is more important. So this is one option. I'll talk about three different scenarios, three options available. In the first option, we identified at the time of lunar eclipse, it is more important for us to secure and safeguard ourselves. It is a time which is not very conducive. We want to safeguard ourselves. That is first. Now let's say instead of that goon, you find somebody special. It's pitch dark, there is nobody. So that craving, the desire will come to the fore. You like to mingle with somebody. There's nobody looking at you. It is like moon, which is a Sattvic planet, which is under so much of tamas energy, so much of shadow. And your mental faculty is not able to think right. You would have heard story about Chaturdashi dosha and all. That is also linked to the same thing. So then your desire will come to the fore. You would like to get some physical intimacy kind of pleasures. That is also an aspect. So then lunar eclipse energy will draw your mind or mental consciousness towards deriving pleasures. That is the second thing. The first thing you wanted protection, second thing you wanted pleasures. Okay? Now look at or consider the third thing. And in the second thing also, while I'm at the second aspect, why I am more sure about getting pleasure? Because moon this time is in the sign of Aquarius. As you know, Rahu is all about illusion. It will further push you to pleasures. The other lord of Aquarius is Saturn, which is retrograde. Saturn is all about dirt, impurity. So on your mind, the quotient of impurity and dirt will be too much of weightage. And you will think, I'm feeling pleasure in getting impure. You'll think about getting impure. That is the second option. No doubt, don't forget that moon itself will be in the nakshatra lorded by Rahu, beginning of this penumbra time, beginning 8:58 till first 40 minutes. Right? Second option can be really prominent. Now the third option, if we find our way out, if we are fortunate enough, when we are passing through the tunnel, we see a guru coming our way and we feel delighted. With Guru's blessings, the covering, he holds our hand and takes us out of the tunnel. And when we are out of the tunnel, we see, oh, the lights is back. The street light is still there. It was an illusion that it went out. It was only because we get into the tunnel, we realize there was no street light. We are back to the full moon. We are back to the Purnima. We are back to that illumination. Our mental faculties again working. How nice. So, as such, there are no blessings coming through this total lunar eclipse. You know why? You understand? So, I'll tell you when I go through each ascendant, I'll tell you the area where you will feel this eclipse energy, the shadow coming in which area of your life. And I'll tell you what you're not supposed to do during this period, which is from 7th. Which period? Is it for one day? No. We have to take full cycle of moon. When moon again comes back to the same sign and passes through it to Pisces, it has to pass through that nakshatra again. That is the logic. That is the rule. So during that period, I'll tell you which are the activities you have to avoid, because you are going to pass through eclipse. Your mind is not going to work properly in those areas of life. And then I'll tell you what you need to do so that you meet your guru who takes you out of the eclipse and you again start to feel the brightness of that new moon. So let's start with the ascendant. 4 ascendants, or rather 5. Cancer, Virgo, Capricorn, Pisces. These ascendants, my dear friends, you need to be extra cautious because the impact of total lunar eclipse will be quite high on your ascendants. Nothing to worry. We're going to talk about the ways by which you can actually come out of this dark energy safely, securely. And the 5th ascendant is Aquarius, but that comes with a special condition. If the condition is met, then the impact will be really high on you. Okay, I'll talk about that when I go through each and every ascendant. So let's begin with Aries ascendant. So my friend, where will the eclipse felt in your life? If you are working from home, let's say you are doing your office work from home, don't do that during this period. Otherwise, there can be a big amount of politics happening at your back in your workplace. Let's say you are in a business, and if you're managing business from your home, try to go to office or your shop, your factory, your establishment, your place of business. Otherwise, there can be some financial misappropriation happening at your back. Something which you don't want is happening at your back, which you may not like, which will not give you a good experience. That is one area. Second, let's say you want to buy a property. Okay, you're seeing a lot of properties. Avoid, wait. Otherwise, you may end up buying a wrong property. Because eclipse, what is eclipse? Lunar eclipse. Your mental faculty will like something. You will like something very much. But after the result of eclipse is over, you will feel, oh, I didn't like it. Why even did I look at this property in the first place? Because your choices will change dramatically under that shadow, tamas shadow. You will like something which you will not like otherwise under the forces of shadow. So hold on to your property decisions. Okay? Now, if you like to invite some of your friends to your home for a party, for a night out, or you like to invite someone very special to your place. There is nobody at your home, or you want to have some privacy with that person, or if you want to go to somebody special's home, avoid. The experience will not be good. Something happen which you may not like. Tamas energy will come to the fore, and you yourself will not feel happy once this lunar eclipse impact will be over. So avoid during this period. The period I talked about that in my intro portion. Now, if you plan to keep a lot of cash from your workplace at your home, right? Either you disclose it or you don't keep it at your home. It will not give you a good experience. Avoid. All right. Now, next. If you like to introduce your loved one to your parents, or your loved one would like to introduce you to their parents, avoid. This is not the right time. The mutual interaction with the parents will not give you a good and long-lasting happy experience. Let this period pass by. All right. So these are the areas where eclipse will come to hit you. Okay. And you know the reason why. Now, how do we come out of this eclipse? How do? An important thing for you. Before sleeping, you have to read something good. Now, what is good for you? Is something romantic good for you? Something sci-fi good for you? Fantasy, humor, poetry, Jyotish, Veda, scriptures, that you have to figure out. You have to read something good, which you consider good. What I mean to say, whatever you do that. Before you go to bed, the last thing you must do is to read something good. Now you need to act smart and find out something good. I leave this judgment to you. Ultimately, it is moon. You will not listen to anybody. You will do what you feel like doing. You will be under the eclipse. Everybody will be under the eclipse. You and I both. But I am giving you an option. Listen to this video. Watch this video again at that time and try to read something good. If you do that, tables will turn. Tables will turn. You will meet the guru and you will be under the full moon. All the impacts which may potentially impact you will go away. Tables will turn. You will have a very good experience in all those activities which you will realize yourself. So you know what you have to do. Taurus. Come lunar eclipse, September 7th, you will feel like, oh, I am done with my efforts. I want my time. So I'm talking about the area where the eclipse is going to hit you. Unless you go through the intro portion, you will not get the story, my friend. You have to listen to the intro. You can't miss out. So you will feel like, I need my time. Come sunset, you will feel like getting cozy with somebody. You will look for that physical intimacy. That is the route you are going to choose, my Taurus friend. You will be under the covering of that tamas impact during this eclipse. Okay? And you want time for yourself, you want to relax. Otherwise, you are a person who can do multitasking with so much of perfection at ease. You just can't sit idle, but you will feel like, no, I've done enough in life. Now, I just want to relax for some time. I want to break for myself. I want to please myself. I want to go to salon. I want to take out some time for my hairdo, for my skincare, all these things. All right? Do not make big plans when it comes to work. Let's say at work, your supervisor tells you to give a proposal for an upcoming deal. Don't submit. Try to avoid. Try to make a delay in that. Otherwise, the way you think and work on the proposal will not be the way you would have think otherwise. You are the owner of an organization and you want to meet with your employees, your support staff and discuss about the upcoming propositions, upcoming structure, strategy. Avoid. It is not the right. Your emotional intelligence will not support you. All right. Now, if you are looking forward because you want time for yourself, then you may think of going for a weekend trip with your family, with your friends. Please avoid. I mean, you can take out time for yourself, pamper yourself, but the weekend trip or trip otherwise with people will not give you a very good experience. Your booking, you may be cheated for financial booking matters, or if you book a hotel that will not come true to the expectation. You can have a showdown with the people over there. You can have a showdown with your accompanied people while on the way. Your vehicle will not support you. Something will happen. Your experience will not be the best. Okay? Avoid experimenting with cooking during this period. Otherwise, the feedback which you would expect, which you are kind of accustomed to receive from other people, will not be the same. Your mind, your heart will not perceive it like that. The feedback might be on the similar lines, but the way you look at or perceive the feedback will be completely different. Well, that will cause trouble to your heart. Your emotions will be outburst. They will be outburst in the emotions. Okay? Because you are not able to see clearly. You are under the shadow. Your moon is under your mental faculty. Mental quotient of intelligence is under eclipse. Now, as an astrologer, let me also tell you how to come out of the eclipse. For you, my friend, before you go to sleep, you have to write. You have to write something good. You can write some poetry. You can write what happened during the day. You can write something related to your kids or your children, a school or something which they want your help on, some project, or related to your partner's work. If he or she likes you to cooperate or contribute to something, you can write that. You can write something about your planning, what you want to do, what you want to achieve in life. Write something. You wind up all the work. Before you go to bed, the last thing you have to do is to write something. Now, that something can also be related to Jyotish, to some Puranas, some nice spiritual thing. That is an indication, because you choose what you feel like choosing. I can give you only indication. And if you do that, then you will find that guru who will hold your hand and take you out of the tunnel, and you will be exposed to that full moon energy again. So all that areas which I encountered earlier, you will not have bad experiences. You will not have emotional outburst. Rather, you will have a good experience, like a Purnima or full moon experience. All right? Gemini. So where will the eclipse impact? Kindly go to intro to understand the storyline. Otherwise, you will not be able to follow properly. So in your case, my friend, my Gemini ascendant friend, you will feel like, let me order food from outside. Zomato, Swiggy, Uber Eats, right? Or let me go out and have food. You'll feel like not cooking the food at home, but rather getting it from outside or going out to eat. And this thought, this is the normal scenario, we can do it. Even you could have been doing it even now also. But this will accentuate. This will take predominance. My recommendation, try to cook the food at home as much as possible. Otherwise, the experience of having food outside or ordering and having that food ordered from outside may not be good. You may feel like, oh, it is cold, it is stale. If you are going to a restaurant, oh, the ambience is not that great. I'm not getting that corner seat. I'm not able to talk to my friend or my partner. There's so much of noise. The music is not of my preference. They're not changing music. The person who's serving the food is very, very rude. Or you can meet a lot of traffic while going to the restaurant. So the experience, the way you are experiencing it to be, will not be like that. Your interpretation of the experience will not be that favorable to you. Okay? Now the other thing, let's say you want to go for an outing with your friends, with your family, even then you try and carry home cooked food. Otherwise, what can happen? Okay. Now, let's say you want to upgrade your investment portfolio. You want to revisit your investment portfolio. You get a tip that, okay, this stock or this debt can go high. Some tip you've got. Or even without a tip, you want to just reshuffle your investment portfolio. You have some additional money coming in. You want to invest that. My suggestion, hold on. Because the way you interpret the market at this time will not be the way you would have interpreted without eclipse scenario. Hold on. Because otherwise, if you take a long-standing position, you may repent. If at all you want to do, take short position so that you can change it after a month. You know the timeline. Please go to intro, beginning from 7th October and then ending after a month. So you would like to hold on, take short position. Okay. Now, if you like some sort of advice for yourself during this period, instead of reaching out to your family members at this point in time, it is better if you reach out to your friends, your other well-wishers, to your office colleagues, right? That can be working well in your favor because the way you will interpret, it will be aligned with your future well-being. Okay? It's all about interpretation. It is not that your family members are going to give advice which is against you. But because of eclipse, the way our emotional quotient is working is not appropriate. Our emotions are under tamas cover. They can be emotional outburst if we get to hear something which is not appropriate as we think. To stay away from that emotional outburst, I am giving you this kind of recommendation. But as an astrologer, let me also tell you the way out for you to just be away from that tamas energy and be out of that eclipse. That simple way out, I am telling you a very, very simple and practical and doable way out. You don't need to incur even a single penny. Before you go to bed for sleep, you need to read something good. Now that good is something which you have to decide. As an astrologer, I can say the good could be scriptures or Purana, but you may pick up something related to some literature related to romance, fantasy, humor, poetry, sci-fi. There are a lot of genres. I leave it to you, but as long as if you read scripture, that is absolutely fantastic. Nothing more to say about that. But as long as you are reading something good, as the last activity before you go to bed, you will meet the Guru, as I mentioned in my intro, who will take your hand, take you out of the eclipse energy and expose you to that full moon energy. And then tables will turn. Whatever experiences you could undergo, I enumerated just a moment back, you will have nice experiences in all those areas. All right? Cancer. So my Cancer ascendant friend, please go to intro so that you can understand the storyline. So which is the area where the eclipse energy is going to impact you? You will be crazy for fame during that eclipse period. My goodness. No doubt, everybody likes fame. You like fame, I like fame, everybody. But the propensity, if propensity goes beyond a threshold, that becomes a troublesome thing. That will happen with you. You can go to any extent. You will wake up, you are sleeping, you'll suddenly wake up and look at the mobile phone. How many likes to my post, to my reel, to my song? You might have sung some song. How many people have liked? How many people have shared? How many followers do I have? You'll be crazy. To get a single like, to get a single follower, you can go to an extent of, you can redo your makeup, you can redo your complete personality change. You can go to any extent just to ensure that your followers are increasing. You are getting fame. My dear friend, this is a phase of lunar eclipse, total lunar eclipse. What you're actually looking for is basically to get the acceptance from others for what you are doing. No doubt you are doing a good thing. You are doing a very, very good, you are a very talented person. But what you're looking for, the acceptance from others, ratification from others. The real thing is that what you actually need is the association of that special one, which is not with you at this point in time. You don't need 1,000 people to ratify what you do. You do great thing. So now that you know you can undergo this situation, you have to be conscious as much as possible. See, in the beginning I told Cancer is one of the ascendant sign which will see the impact to a larger extent of this lunar eclipse energy. So it will not be easy for you to be very, very conscious. Your Lagna Lord itself is moon, which is under eclipse. All right? But watch this video again during that period so that you can be a bit more conscious. All right? So you will have everything. In spite of having everything, you will feel like you're lonely. You'll feel like you're lonely. And that's why you need ratification. But will that actually give you some company? Can you actually trust on 10,000 people? That is a question you have to ask. Where you should spend your energies on, rather than to impress 1,000 people, but one people or one person. What is the right thing? That you have to decide. You have to amend and find the right path for yourself. All right. Now the other thing, very interesting. You will revisit your health goals. You will feel like, I want to bring fitness. Now this is again related with your effort to impress others. You would like to have a nice figure, nice physique, strong, active, agile, glow on the face, nice hairdo. To that extent, you will quickly go to a health club, fitness first, cult, whatever, yoga session, Zumba session, and take the annual membership. Don't take annual membership. You're not going to go for the entire year. It is the eclipse which is causing you to spend that money on the annual membership. Save that money, my friend. Save that money. If at all you're very sure, which you be, for that phase you'll be like, I am dead sure. For that phase, after eclipse energy is over, you'll be back to, oh my goodness, why did I spend? I'm telling you upfront, take monthly membership or weekly membership, or at best take 2 or 3 days of free membership, free trial. After 3 days, you'll be done. You'll be done. Or the eclipse, because you're Cancer ascendant, you may not be done. So after a month, sorted, over. Your enthu will come down to the normal scale. I'm not saying it is not good to be physically active. It is good, but save money. Incur when you are really sure, when your mind is without the tamas energy shadow. Then take the decision and build on to that. All right. Now the thing is, let me tell you the remedy, how to come out of the eclipse. My friend, 7th September till 6th October, you can go to intro to understand it more carefully. You have to rise before sunrise. Every single day, beginning 7th September, you have to rise before sunrise and read something spiritual. The first thing you have to do, to read something spiritual. That is first, because you're Cancer ascendant. On top of this, you have to worship Mother Divine. You can keep Navratri fasting. Navratri is coming in September. Wow. An inbuilt remedy is coming your way. Keep Navratri fasting. Take blessing from Kanyas, some young girls below puberty age. If you do these things, tables will turn. You will realize, no, I don't need to impress 10,000 people. I'm fine. My work is great. I don't need the ratification from others. I am doing great. I can sing great. I can write great. I can contribute to all these areas very nicely. What I need is that one person, and you'll try to fix up things with that person. Then your mind will behave properly. All right? Leo ascendant. So my friend, please watch intro portion to get the storyline. So I am going to cover the area of your life where the eclipse energy will hit you. So your mind will drift from meditative energy to a very, very far off energy. Very far off energy. So come sunset, you'll feel like mingling with somebody very special. The desire to derive sensual pleasure will be at the core. More so, in addition to the eclipse energy, which I am kind of trying to interpret, for you, the 12th house, Venus is posited. Venus is sitting. So Venus's 12th house is actually, in a Kala Purush Kundi, it behaves like exalted. So when Venus is exalted, then obviously that relationship aspect takes precedence. Coupled with this eclipse energy, when the moon, the emotional quotient, is under the dirt or impurity of Saturn, is under tamas energy of Rahu, you can imagine. I mean, for you, this will be like, I want to derive so much of pleasure in different ways and means. This is the purpose of life. I want to do it every time. All the more. That will be how you will be thinking. But the experience may not be up to the mark. You may not reach that point during that play. You may not like what's happening. You may feeling some vacuum. Something is missing. You're not talking much. You're doing more, but not talking much. That sense of belongingness with the partner is not there. It is more mechanical. Or if you're doing with multiple people, then you will not feel happy about it. Oh, it is not good. I'm wasting my energy. So after it is done, you will not feel happy about it. So, because you know your mind will not behave appropriately, it will your emotions will behave under the impression of tamas energy. So be a bit conscious. Watch this video at that time again and be a bit more conscious and responsible. The other thing, if you plan to travel, let's say you're booking some tickets now, try to avoid traveling at that point in time. Do you know the window? Beginning September 7 and the window, the period through intro portion you can recheck. Avoid travel during that window because the experience will not be that great. Your booking experience, your accommodation, your travel while you're in transit, you're packing, you miss out something, you didn't pack it properly, your interaction with the hotel staff, your interaction with your partner on the way, something is not great. Okay. Because you're not able to behave as per your normal self. Your emotions are under shadow. There will be emotional outburst on every small thing which is not as per your whims and fancies. Now, how to come out of that eclipse energy? For you, my friend, my Leo ascendant friend, very simple and practical and doable way I'm telling. Before you go to bed, before you sleep, you have to read something good. What's that good? Up to you. You'll not listen to anybody, to me or to anybody. That's why I'm giving the power, so that when you feel powerful, oh, I am deciding, then you may very well be deciding something good for you. For me, as an astrologer, I'll say you have to pick up Jyotish, astrology, something related to Vedas, Vedanga, some scripture, some Purana, some spiritual book. But you may very well decide to pick up something related to fantasy, humor, poetry, sci-fi, romantic, all these genres. Fine. As long as you're picking something which you consider good for yourself as the last activity before you go to bed, you're done. You are doing a very, very strong remedy. This will turn the table and you will meet, your guru will come, pull you out of the tunnel and expose you to the full moon energy without the shadow of eclipse. So whatever I enumerated earlier, the experiences which will not fall well for you will be good for you again. Once again, in all those areas of life, you can start to have good experiences. All right? Virgo. So my friend, this eclipse energy is going to cast shadow in which aspect of your life? If you're not able to follow, kindly watch the intro portion to understand the storyline. Okay? So for you, my friend, there can be a lot of showdown with your friends, and this can aggravate. The reason? Because the emotional quotient, that mind is under tamas energy, under the shadow. So if something is not going or being said as per your desire, your expectation, which is under cloud, under cover, you will be like bursting out. Emotional outburst will be there. And that will cause showdown with your friend circle. Be conscious. Be very, very conscious. Watch this video again at that time so that you can be conscious. Try to avoid. It is not good. They may be saying the right thing, but the way you are interpreting during eclipse energy is not appropriate. Okay? Now, you'll feel like after office hours, after working hours, let's go to a pub. Let's enjoy life. Your money will be flowing outward. You'll be spending so much on such activities. Okay? Just be conscious. Now, let's say at this point, you made a plan. I'm going to travel to meet my guru to a spiritual place. Very well, that you can change your plan. You can cancel such a trip. You'll feel, I don't have time. This is the priority, but not the immediate priority. This can come later. Something else has come up which is taking more precedence. Tamas energy on your emotional quotient. The way you're getting emotional about your guru today, you may not feel that or those kind of emotions for your guru at that point in time. Ironical. But that's what it is. This is the total lunar eclipse with blood moon. Now, another area, you may feel that your partner's association with somebody whom you don't like, the association itself, you're not happy. You're not happy that your partner is talking to somebody specific. You got the idea? That can also lead to emotional outburst. So my Virgo friend, as I mentioned in my intro, that Virgo is one of such ascendants who will face the energy or the shadow impact of this eclipse to a larger extent. Let me tell you a way out to come out of the eclipse energy. So my friend, from 7th September to 6th October, you can get the better idea from the intro portion, no doubt. You have to get up before sunrise. Every day before sunrise, you have to get up. And you have to start your day with reading something spiritual. You don't have any option what you like. No. You have to get up before sunrise every single day and read something spiritual. If you do that, simple thing, practical thing, doable thing, don't need you to incur any money. If you do that, you can turn the tables. You will see an energy, a blessing is coming, like a guru is taking you, holding your hand and taking you out of the tunnel and exposing you to that full moon energy. There's no shadow any longer. So all the activities which I enumerated, which can fall flat for your life in terms of having a not so good experience, will again start to give you good experience. How nice, how beautiful. Libra ascendant. So my friend, the area where the eclipse energy is going to impact you, intro portion is mandatory to understand the storyline, my friend. So for you, the eclipse energy is going to impact you in such a way that your mental faculty, your emotional quotient will outburst when you are interacting with your colleagues at work, with your juniors, with your supervisors, and you will feel they're not saying the right thing, it is not in your favor, they're trying to hide things from you. They are trying to make you a scapegoat. They are trying to put you in corners, which may not be the right thing. Because your mental faculty, the way your emotions are coming out, those are under tamas energy, they're in the shadow. You are not interpreting those appropriately. So that showdown will be there. You'll be emotionally behaving in an inappropriate way. So watch this video again and try to be conscious. Try to be calm. Don't react immediately. Don't burn the bridges immediately. Okay? All right. Now, you will feel like bringing a lot of change to your life. Suddenly, you'll feel like, I want to test new waters. When it comes to work, let me talk to my boss. I want to move to a different process. You're in business, you'll feel like, I've done enough. I want to try some new change, bring some new portfolio, start up with new subsidiary. Some new random ideas will come to your head. Stop. In caps, stop it. You are not thinking appropriately at this juncture, my friend. You know the timeline, intro portion. That timeline, you have to stop your impulses. Because your mind is under the tamas energy. Your mana is not working appropriately. Now, if your father, let's say you brought this idea to your father, and father being father, he says, let me also give you a boot up money, some startup money. It is good that you're getting some finances to start up. Hold on. That money will get wasted if you start immediately, if you even accept that money from your father. Say no. Say wait, let this period pass by. Please. Now, interesting. You have heard the word instant gratification. You are going to experience that, my friend. You will feel, I have put in some efforts. Where is the outcome? I want the result. Instant gratification. I have eaten the burger. I want to feel satisfied. Why still I'm feeling the need to have another drink? Why I'm still feeling hungry? I've incurred money on burger. I'm not feeling satisfied or full. Even to this lower level of things, you will like to have instant gratification. Your emotions are like that. And if somebody says something opposite to what you feel, you will have a showdown. All right. Now, how to get out of the eclipse? Very simple, practical, doable remedy. don't need to incur any money. Don't need to even spend so much of time. Before you go to bed, before you sleep, the last thing you have to do is to read something good. Now, good as per me as a Jyotish, Vedic Jyotish, considering we're talking about lunar eclipse, for me the good would be something spiritual. Could be Jyotish, something related to any Veda, Vedanga, Purana, some scriptures, ancient scriptures. But you may not like picking up such thing, that's fine. Whatever you like to pick, whatever you feel good, could be something romantic, humorous, poetic, sci-fi, whatever genre you like to pick it. Read something good, what you consider as good, as the last thing before you go to bed, and you see the magic happening. The tables will turn, you will get that energy, that blessings, as if Guru is taking your hand and pulling you out of the tunnel and exposing you to that full moon energy. There is no shadow anymore. So all the experiences from those things enumerated by me, under the impulse of shadow, will start to give you good experiences again. How beautiful. Scorpio, my Scorpio friend, the area where this lunar eclipse energy is going to impact your life, please go to the intro portion to understand the storyline. Otherwise, you will not be able to connect the dots. So you will feel, because your mood, your mind, your mana, your heart is under the weight of tamas energy, right? So the way you feel otherwise as a normal human being, you will not feel the same at that juncture. So you will feel the elders at your home, the way they're talking to you is not in your favor. That may not be the case, but it is how you will feel. So they can be showed on with them. You'll feel, I'm not feeling connected with them. I want to just move out. I want to stay alone. They're not thinking there's a generation gap. I'm Gen Z. They're some Harappa Sanskriti people, Harappa, all those kind of Sanskriti, civilizations, my bad. So you'll feel like they're very, very old, outdated people, right? And I'm Gen Z person. The way I think is very, very modern and, AI driven. But they thought, see, my friend, let this period pass by. Okay. If you are a female native, then an added thing, the way you interact with your kids. If you are, let's say, female native and a student and a teacher, the way you interact with your students in school, at tuition center, online classes, be very, very patient. Be very, very patient. If your patience goes out of radar, you can expect lot of conflicts and clashes between yourself and your students. I mean, you will feel that among students, they form a group and they're against you. That may not be the case. But the thing is, the way you're interpreting situation is not the right way. It is the eclipse energy, which is putting pressure on your thoughts. Okay. Now, do not take any risk during this period, my friend. It can be anything as simple as experimenting with food, making a new dish, watching and learning from YouTube and trying it out. It is a risk. You want a good feedback, you may not get the good feedback and you will feel sad. You may not even try for next 6 months. Rather than let this period pass by, the period from the intro portion. After that, if you try, there's no such energy. Their feedback may still be the same. Constructive feedback, so to say. But the way you interpret it will be constructive as well. There will not be any emotional outburst. All right. Now, that's there, but how to get out of this emotional energy? Even during this timeline, can you do something which can help you come out of this energy? Yes, my friend, you can do. Very simple, practical, easy things to do. Before you go to bed, before you sleep, you have to read something good. As a Jyotish, I'll tell good could be something related to spirituality, Jyotish, some Puran, some Vedic literature. But you may feel like good is different for you, that's fine. Whatever you consider as good, I want to give the command in your hand so that you feel authoritative and do it. I mean, sci-fi genre, poetic genre, some humorous, some romantic, some erotic, whatever you feel comes to your head, do that. Pick it up, read it. If you read something good, which you feel is good for you, read. Reading is important. Before you go to bed, the last thing, then you will feel you are turning the table. Obviously, the content matter. If it is Purana, the result will be quite quicker. If it is something different, it may take some time, but results will come. You will feel as if a guru is holding your hand and taking you out of the tunnel and exposing you to that full moon energy, illuminating energy of the moon. Moon is back to strength. Your emotional quotient is up to the mark. You are not having that not so good experiences with the same sort of activities which I had enumerated some time back. Fantastic. Things are back to normal. Sagittarius. So my friend, it is an interesting juncture for you. Very, very interesting. Unlike other ascendants, I've been talking about specifically for every ascendant, for you it is going to be kind of a blessing scenario for you. Very interesting, but that's how it is. So you will feel like, before I start, it is good for you to go to the intro portion to understand the storyline, right? So I am going to talk about the area where the eclipse energy is going to be felt in your horoscope, in your life. You'll feel like, I want to take a break. I want to go out for a short trip with my friends, with my family, with my colleagues. I want some time for myself. I want to break. And if you go to some place, on some trip, the beauty for you is your experiences out of that break, out of that trip, out of your association with your friends and family will be good. Otherwise, in eclipse energy, experience is not going to be good. But for you, you are an exception, my friend. I told you in the beginning. For you, your experience is going to be multiple reasons. One reason I'll tell you, one reason which is not full. Your Lagna Lord is Jupiter. It is having a special drishti. It is in Vakragati, but it is looking forward. And 7th drishti is always in forward. One special indication I told you. There are multiple other things. Okay, in spite of being Atichari, 7th drishti is a special drishti on top of that. It is not only a 7th drishti, a special drishti also. So it is causing benefit to you. Okay. Now, so one thing I told you. Second thing, if you start physical workout at this juncture, let me tell you a very good thing, my friend. If you start physical workout, your health will improve. So it is a very good time for you to start, enroll in some institute and start. If you don't want to incur some money, you don't have time, do it at home. Just turn on the YouTube or any other channel and follow. Start. Please start. Okay. Now, where the eclipse actually is going to impact. No doubt you have so many blessings coming through. You're an exception. But still, there are some places where the impact can come. If you are willing to take voluntary retirement, or if you don't at that age, if you are thinking, okay, let me just switch from a service industry to an entrepreneur industry, don't. This is the eclipse energy which is making you think like that. Let this energy pass by, and after the energy passed by, even if you feel the same way, perfect. And look at the other things in the horoscope and take action accordingly. But you know the timeline mentioned in the intro, beginning from October 7th and beginning from September 7th, my bad. So this you need to take in mind. Wait for the right time. Don't take impulsive decisions. All right. Now, if you want to make quick money, let's say, do not do gambling activities. No, gamble is not something which is going to favor you at this juncture. During the time of total lunar eclipse, when the emotional quotient is under the tamas shadow, gambling is not going to help you out, my friend. Now, how do you get out of this eclipse energy? Whatever energy impact there, still there, how to get out of that? Very simple, easy, practical way. Don't need to incur any money. Before you go to bed, you have to read something good like spiritual activity. For you, it is kind of mandatory that you read spiritual stuff because your Lagna Lord is Jupiter. I can't give you an option. You have to read astrology, any Veda, Vedanga, Puranas, Vedic literature. If you are not very keen for reading something spiritual, then you can very well read some stories which have some good learning, some experiences, some autobiographies of some fighters, of some, autobiographies are very nice. You have to read something good. If you do that, you can turn the tables. A guru will come holding your hand, taking you out of the tunnel and exposing you to full moon energy. All the things, all the experiences for the activities which are enumerated some time back will start to be good. The eclipse shadow will go away. Capricorn ascendant. So my friend, please watch intro portion to understand the storyline. So the area where the eclipse energy is going to put shadow in your life, you will feel like, I have done so much. I am doing still in favor of my partner. I am such a big well-wisher for my partner. Still, I am not being reciprocated. This is enough. There can be emotional outburst. Now, the partner doesn't mean your spouse. It can be anybody whom you consider somebody really special in your life. And you will really feel that you have done so much, but it is not getting reciprocated. Rather, you are being put under accusations and questioning. It is the other way around. And you will say, enough. This is enough. There can be confrontations. And also because you're looking forward to get into some venture with your partner, to earn money, to get into some business venture. No. As you know that your equation with the partner is not going to be that amicable during this eclipse phase, hold on to the idea of getting onto a joint venture. Hold on. Even I would recommend you not to even discuss about any venture during this eclipse phase. All right? Patience is the key for you, which will not be easy, because during this eclipse energy, the emotional quotient, the emotional faculty is under tamas energy, tamas shadow. How we can expect patience? No. So watch this video again. Try to be conscious as much as possible. Okay? If you do not disassociate yourself from this kind of problems with the partner, with the venture, with this emotional outburst, that can have an impact on your work profile also. Otherwise, work is not getting impacted by this eclipse energy per se. But the condition is you have to disassociate. Once you are at your work, don't think about what is happening at your home with your partner. Just try to disassociate. And then that's fine. Now, how to come out of the eclipse? Because unless you have a way to come out of the problem, things cannot work out. And you want a solution. Let me tell you a solution. And in my intro, I spoke about Capricorn ascendant, that it is one of those ascendants which is going to face this impact of eclipse energy in a big way. Remember? So for you, a simple, practical, workable solution during this period, which you have to get up before sunrise. Every day morning during this period, you have to get up before sunrise, and you have to start your day by reading something spiritual. There is no option for you. You have to start by reading something spiritual. If you do that, simple thing, without fail, without a single day miss, you have to do that. If you do that, the tables will turn. You will get that guru who will come and hold your hand and take you out of the tunnel and expose you to the illumination of full moon energy. So all the experiences will start to take shape as a better and nice experiences. Whatever I've enumerated so far will turn out to be good for you. All right? Aquarius ascendant. So my friend, please go and watch intro portion to understand the storyline. The area where the total lunar eclipse is going to put shadow in your life is that your emotional outburst will come in front of your friends. You will feel, no, you're not telling something which is in my favor. There can be showdowns. A lot of conflicts, confrontation can take place. Specifically, why? Because your networking skill will not help you. Otherwise, your networking skills are amazing. You know that. But those will not favor you, work for you, because the way you are thinking is not appropriate. You are under that eclipse shadow. So networking will go for a toss. You are going to burn a lot of bridges. So watch this video again during that eclipse phase and be conscious. Don't burn the bridges. All right? Okay. Come sunset, during that phase, you know the phase, intro portion, I missed the timeline. Come sunset, you will feel like, let me relax, let me enjoy, let me open the bottle for myself, my friends. Dancing, drinking, all such other associated activities. You get the idea? You'll feel like doing all such things. And you'll feel like, wow, I'm having a great time. At that point, but the moment that phase is over, morning you'll get up, your body will trouble you. It will not help you. You will feel, I didn't do justice with my body. It is not supporting me. It will give indication, stop it. But your emotions are in that area. You will find it very difficult to stop. If you want to beat your competitor strategy during that period, let's say you face a lot of competition and feel like, I want to beat up my competitor, which you can beat up otherwise in a normal way, easily. But during that period, if you come up with ideas against that strategy, those may not be the best ideas. Because you are being very emotional about few things. This is the eclipse energy overpowering you. So hold on. Let the period pass by. Let them have a temporary win over you. Let them enjoy. But if you really want to get out of this energy or this shadow, even before that timeline, I can tell you a very important and nice way. Now, Aquarius, if you recall my intro, I told you that in addition to a couple of other ascendants, you are one of the special ascendant. If a special thing matches you, then you will actually, if a special condition is there, the special condition is, if in addition to being an Aquarius ascendant, if your moon is also in Aquarius, then you are going to face the shadow energy in a big way. Then you really need a remedy. Then you need a consultation. Let me be very, very honest. Because there are specific mantras, okay? Specific mantras which you must do. If you don't want to take a consultation with anybody, you can do a lot of prayers. Whatever prayers you deem fit, do a lot of prayers, right? But I'll tell you two things. If you do those two things, it will be as good as doing a consultation. Great. First thing, before sleeping, you have to read something spiritual. There is a must. It is not an option. You can't read something else. Before you go to bed, you have to read. The last thing you have to do is to read something spiritual, some Puranas, some Jyotish, some Vedanga activity, some literature like Gita, Mahabharata, some nice Puranas. Plus, this is one thing. On top of that, in the morning, you have to read Shiv Mahapurana. Mandatory, compulsory. If you do these things, then the tables will turn. Your guru, like blessings will come in your life, will hold your hand, take you out of the tunnel and expose you to that full moonlight of moon. All the things which I enumerated earlier, experiences will start to be better in all those activities, all those areas of life. How beautiful. Pisces, my Pisces friend, kindly go to introduction portion so that you can understand the storyline. So the eclipse energy, this total lunar eclipse energy is going to impact your life, the area where it will impact. First, let's talk about the area and then we'll talk about the solution to come out of the eclipse energy, right? So you will actually, your mind will shift dramatically from prayers to a very, very, very distant zone. Otherwise, you enjoy doing prayers. You are that nice person. You like to be in the proximity of the Almighty. You like to feel the presence of the Almighty. But the eclipse energy is going to put heavy shadow the way your emotions are going to portray your actions. You will feel like getting into the association of somebody very, very special. that energy, the second root, the union with somebody special, will come to the fore, will overpower you, will grip you. Do not start a new relationship. Do not get into a new relationship at this juncture. If you're already into a relationship, you can't help it. I am not asking you to break the relationship, not at all. You are in a relationship, try to keep it as sattvic as possible. Try to be away from that intimacy craving. Not easy. Easy for me to say, but even despite being a Pisces ascendant person, you will feel like today, if you are watching this, you will feel like, I can't do that. My dear friend, this is a total lunar eclipse. In the intro, I explained in detail how the tamas energies are overpowering the moon. Right? So it is not in your hand or my hand. This is something which planets are kind of going to cast their impact. All right? The other thing, if you're thinking of working with the portfolio, investing something here, something there, the decisions will fall flat on you. My advice, deactivate your Demat account temporarily for this period. You know the period. Remember in my intro I mentioned there are few ascendants, and Pisces is one of such ascendants which is going to face this impact in a big way. So I am going to the extent of telling you or recommending you to rather deactivate your Demat account temporarily. So even by mistake, you do not get into any transaction. You can imagine the gravity. Okay. If you are planning to travel during this period, say no. Otherwise, the experience, you're going to react emotionally with your partners, with the hotel staff, with the traveler staff. The overall experience will not be a memorable one for good reasons. Okay. Because you are not behaving emotionally appropriately. What is the way out? We also need to find a way out. Specifically from September 7th till October 6th, we need a way out. Very good, practical, easy way of doing it. You have to rise before sunrise every day during this period, without fail, without a single day's miss. Get up before sunrise. Start your day with something spiritual. Read something spiritual. No other option. You're a Pisces Lagna person. If you do that, things will turn. Whatever areas I've enumerated, it is like you are going to get some blessing. A guru is coming, holding your hand from the tunnel, taking you out and exposing you to the beautiful full moon energies. The light is back, the shadows are gone. All those things will start to get nice experiences. That is the power of this simple and profound Vedic remedy. All right. So with this, let me end the video. I'll see you soon with some other video. Till then, Om Namah Shivaya.